Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:06, a super busy Monday morning here. We're trying to get a handle on all of the stories that matter most to you and to us. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in 30 minutes, Susan Crabtree. We got to acknowledge the anniversary of the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life, but also Susan Crabtree for RealClearPolitics has some new developments there in terms of the Secret Service handling of the investigation. So we'll get into that coming up in 30 minutes and a lot more. We got the Bondi Bongino thing. We got the Biden auto pen scandal. We got a lot. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
We also have Stewart Whitson. Stewart Whitson is running his tail off. He, of course, is the nominee for the special election for Congress for the 11th District. And you have hit the ground running, Mr. Whitson. I've been following you on social media, and you are all over the district. Tell me how it's going so far.
Well, it's going really well, Larry, and it's great to be on with you and Julie. So, it's only been 15 days, right, since we won the primary. But guess what? We only have 11 till early voting starts. So like you said, we are sprinting. We've got to energize our base, both locally and nationally. We have to attract and earn the vote of persuadable swing voters, and we have to raise enough resources to reach all those voters and actually drag them to the polls and make sure they get out and vote. And like
that's
I said,
amazing.
We've got to do this in 2 months.
Yeah, early voting starts July 25th. And let me tell you, the Democrat machine, it doesn't matter who the nominee is, they are so locked in there with their machine to get out the vote, get union people out and everything. But this is a different animal this time around because it's a special election. And apparently since the last time we spoke, Stewart, you got a pretty high-level endorsement. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so really honored to have Governor Youngkin come out with a strong endorsement. And as everyone knows, he really was a pioneer and a leader in the movement to kind of take back common sense in Northern Virginia, to restore rights for our girls, and kind of get the DEI stuff out of our schools. And so that's a big part of our campaign. That's something I'm passionate about. Father of 5, 3 young daughters. We have to get the DEI stuff that's going on behind closed doors out of our schools. And how do we do that? We do that through strong leadership. We do that through people that are willing to fight for our girls. And so I'm one of those people. So excited to have his endorsement.
Mr. Whitson, you also got an endorsement from Independent Women's Voice, which is an organization I'm affiliated with as well. And part of the reason is because Independent Women's Voice, independent women in general, is fighting to get men out of women's spaces, particularly sports. I shouldn't say particularly. We're for getting men out of all spaces, women's spaces. But the sports issue is really important. This is something you're committed to as well, which is why you've gotten that endorsement from the Independent Women's Voice. Tell us about how you feel about this issue. You have daughters. You get why this is important. Tell us about your thoughts on this.
Well, yeah, you know this, Julie. My wife and I have 5 kids. 3 of those are daughters. All of our kids are athletes. And sports, it's so much more than just promoting good health. It actually, builds self-confidence. It helps teach lessons you can't teach in a classroom. And I'll just be frank, the obsession of people like my opponent to deprive our young girls not only of their right to compete in an environment that's fair and an environment that's safe, but their obsession to invade their private spaces.
Yes,
it's disturbing, but it's also dangerous, Julie. And so
Mr. Whitson, we've got a perfect example of Richard Cox going into rec centers and women's bathrooms, and this. Go ahead, Larry.
Let's hone in on that. Richard Cox is a perfect example. This is a convicted sex offender who walks free right now. James Walkinshaw, your opponent, the Democrat nominee for Virginia 11, he sits on the Virginia County Board of Supervisors. He has done nothing to ensure that girls are protected from this guy. I know it's anecdotal, but it's not. It's actually representative of what his outlook is on this issue, in my opinion, Mr. Whitson.
No, I think you're spot on. And again, that comes back to the point I was saying, is we have to have strong leaders that share our values, that care about our children and want to protect our families, and are willing to stand up and fight for our daughters to make sure they have the opportunities they deserve in the private spaces they deserve. And that's exactly what I plan to do.
What is it you need right now? The timeline on this is remarkable. Again, September 9th is the actual general election day, but early voting, because of Virginia's laws, begin in 2 weeks, July 25th. That's 2 weeks from this Friday, actually less than 2 weeks. So what is it you need right now? And are you getting support from the RNC and from the NRCC?
Yeah, so we have started conversations. We're still waiting to see more support from the NRCC, but the Republican Party in Virginia has gone out of their way to be supportive. So that's a start, and we're confident that everyone's going to come to this fight because they agree that this is our once-in-a-generation opportunity to take back this seat. And so I'm confident more people are going to get engaged on the national level. Okay. But the biggest thing we need right now is we need people to go to our website, whitsonforcongress.com, WHITSON, learn about our campaign, and just share it with friends and neighbors. Even if they're not in the 11th district, if they're in Northern Virginia, this is a fight that everyone should get engaged in. And so that's what we need to do. We need to spread word. We need to make people aware of the election and make sure they understand that voting starts in just 11 days and the election September 9th.
This is.
Go ahead, Julie. I'm sorry. I was.
No, how has the volunteering been? It is, Northern Virginia. I know how it is here in the Northern Virginia region, but how has the turnout been for you?
It's been incredible. And one of the things that's, so you have an army of folks that every election, they're in the streets doing door knocking, they're working hard. But what's exciting about this time is there's a lot of newcomers. So there's a lot of people that haven't door knocked before joining us on our Super Saturday, and there's and doing other efforts to help. And so that's exciting. That shows you that there's a lot of energy behind this effort.
Has Mr. Walkinshaw agreed to a debate yet? Is he going to allow the people of the district to actually see both candidates side by side debating the issues that matter most, or is he just going to act like he has a birthright to this seat because he's the Democrat?
Yeah, so this is going to shock you, but no, he has not agreed yet. However, there's 4 different opportunities that groups are offering for us to debate. And so I've already agreed to every single one of those. Hopefully he'll get some pressure and he'll join. But if he doesn't, I'll still go there. It'll be a left-wing moderator. I'll take their questions and just let the people see where we stand on the issues and I can frankly earn the vote of a lot of independents in the process.
Stewart, if I can just take a moment to say that I heard from a good friend, my friend Austin Roos, who was in church this weekend, and said that you instantly came to the aid of a little girl who got sick in church, and you were one of the first ones there to help her and make sure she was okay. And he just wanted me to mention that on air. Thought you were quite the hero at church this weekend.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Again, as a parent of 5, we've had that happen.
You totally get it
with our kids, and so I'm happy. I get it. Like, I'm happy to help.
Well, that was very sweet.
And that's what it is. Leaders, you got to be service first and serve the community. And so I feel like if people are wired that way, you just act that way, I guess.
Well, you gained a few voters there, I think. So good job.
That's a good thing. All right, Stewart Whitson, you got to get back on the campaign trail. Hopefully you're getting some media attention. I saw that a couple of the prominent radio stations in town, other than ours, of course, actually did a couple of profiles on the race. Has the Washington Post done any kind of interview yet? Are you meeting with their editorial board?
Not yet. We have an op-ed to them that we're waiting to get their approval to be published. But I will say I've got a big event with Winsome Sears tomorrow that I'll be joining. I'll be talking to the Fairfax GOP membership meeting this week as well. SUV GOP have a meet and greet. We've got another meet and greet in Drainsville and more Saturday door knocking and an Asian American outreach event on Sunday. So it's back-to-back meeting with as many people as we can and just getting the word out.
Keep that energy up, folks. This is not a layup for the Democrats like they usually think it's going to be. Make them work for this, and Stewart Whitson might just shock the world. What an amazing story that would be. All right, Stewart, keep us informed. Thanks for joining us. Get back to work.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
It's 8:15. Superhero Stewart Whitson. Saving
Totally.
a little girl at church.
Yeah.
It's just like Austin Roos to pick up on that stuff.
I know.
And report around as well. Here's your Catholic update. It's 8:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
It is time for Critter News, Julie Gunlock, but it's a special one. I want to give everyone a warning. You're going to want to listen very carefully to this critter. Am I wrong? Is this not?
This is the best.
In fact, it's very important. Keep the music going if we could. Because, or is it already, have we already shut it down? All right. Well, and part of the reason why this is a very special one is because what is the theme song for Critter News, Julie Gunlock?
In the jungle.
Well, no, the actual song is called "The Lion Sleeps Tonight."
Oh, sorry. The lion. Gosh,
that's quite all right. It's all right. This is what I get for
look,
throwing
theater
a snack
guy.
quiz
Don't
at
ask
you.
me. Don't ask me these.
Yes.
Theater
What's
questions.
the population of Iran? Huh? Listen
You're
to the
worst.
Okay, so the reason why this is a very special Critter News is because it actually involves a lion.
It happened.
Here in the United States, this lion was not sleeping. This lion was wide awake in the middle of the night, which, you know, if you're in California, there's a lot of mountain lions there, pumas, as they call them here and there. There's various regions in this country where you might, maybe not expect, but not be totally shocked to see a mountain lion encroaching on a suburban area, right? That's just the reality.
I guess.
But not Rochester, New York.
Right.
Generally speaking, if you're in Rochester, New York, you're not
safe.
expecting to see freaking Simba walking down the middle of the street.
Right.
But that's what happened. And the reason why this Critter News story resonates is because of the eyewitness account that the local ABC affiliate captured. I want you to listen to this story about a mountain lion encroaching on a Rochester, New York neighborhood. Take it away.
I heard the roar. I felt that roar. I knew to keep it pushing. I knew that.
Curtis Jones says he was walking near Robber Street late Wednesday when he saw people running from what appeared to be a large wild cat.
After I see the people run, I just see something big just walking, just right over here, right by the bush. It went right over here. I swear, I promise you, it went right over there. And it said, roar, and I just kept walking. I seen me, see it. So in my head, I'm like, I gotta go, man, I'm out.
Rochester police say officers became aware of a video on social media that appears to show a wild cat, which some people claim is a mountain lion. RPD says it received numerous calls of reported sightings, including one near North Clinton Avenue and Robber Street just after midnight.
About like this big. It was just walking, slithering, like it was. Slithering.
A shelter in place was ordered and then lifted when RPD was unable to verify the presence of a wild animal. Police say no reports have been substantiated. Jones tells me he remains on edge.
You gotta keep this bat right here, man. I'm gonna keep this bat right here, man, just in case. I'm gonna protect it. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to us, nothing, okay? They ain't find it last night. It's still out here. It could be out here in one of these bushes or something. You know, them mountain lions, they be, wow, they be crawling, you know, they serious.
The Monroe County Sheriff's Office assisted the investigation by using an aerial drone. The Seneca Park Zoo told 13 WAM all of its animals are accounted for.
I don't play with lions. I don't play with tigers, bears, nothing with the wild. I don't play with those. I promise you. I don't even do roller coasters. I'm good.
That's the greatest eyewitness report I have ever heard in my life.
This is going to be cut up, and people, rawr, they're going to use little clips of it. This is the same as I ain't got time for that, lady, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I ain't got no time for that. Right, no, we've already got it. Here's cut 31A. We're going to use it forever.
Here we go.
I heard the roar. I felt that roar.
This guy needs to be like he needs to join the local ABC 7 team there in Rochester.
He needs a reality show. What are you talking about?
He might very well get it. Now, here's the thing: you heard the reports. Like none of the accounts have been substantiated. Well, first of all, that's a pretty
film.
We've seen the video. There's a freaking lion walking down the street.
He's slithering, just like that guy said.
Slithering down the street. No, I think my favorite part.
It was just walking, slithering, like it was. I don't know, man.
He should be a writer. It's a great word for it.
By the way, so
I love how
he described Curtis. What's his name? Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones describes the moment where he sees the lion sees him, and he sees the lion seeing him, seeing him.
Yeah,
and it's the greatest play-by-play. 31B here.
It said, "Row," and I just kept walking. I seen it, seen me, see it. So in my head, I'm like, I gotta go, man. I'm out.
I know exactly what he's saying.
I know exactly what he's saying, but the best part is he's now walking around broad daylight with a baseball bat.
He's got his baseball bat. Well, absolutely, there's
Smart
a
guy.
lion around.
I love that they're like, yeah, we looked for it, and then they're like, just go back to being normal. Can you imagine walking around here? You can't send your kids out to play.
No, Curtis Jones is going to protect his family with that baseball bat. And the lion, somebody else might get eaten up by a Slytherin lion, but not Curtis Jones' family.
Grief.
Can I get just that last part there, 31E? I just want to keep track of what and what not Curtis Jones will play with.
Yes.
I don't play with lions. I don't play with tigers, bears, nothing with the wild. I don't play with those. I promise you. I don't even do roller coasters. I'm good.
There it is. And that's your Critter News for today,
Curtis.
literally about a lion. And honestly, the Rochester Police Department in New York needs to step up its game because they just can't walk away saying nothing to see here. Excuse me.
Yeah, we all saw it.
Yes, and we know what a lion sounds like. That would be 31A. Let's get the drops.
I heard the roar. I felt that roar.
There it is.
We're going to be talking to Susan Crabtree. She's Real Clear Politics national political correspondent. She'll discuss the anniversary of the assassination attempt on President Trump and answer some really disturbing questions about the Secret Service. Keep it here. We'll discuss. It's 8:30.
WMAL-FM Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:36 on what has turned out to be an incredibly busy morning. If you missed any of it, you might want to hear Joe DeGenevive's take on the Joe Biden auto pen pardon scandal and on the kerfuffle between Bongino and Bondi over there at DOJ. Joe DeGeneve was, not very reserved in his opinions on either of those things. Go ahead and download the podcast to catch that and our own takes on all those stories. We still have quite a bit ahead before Julie Gunlock and I return this programming over to Chris Plant for his extravaganza. Julie, welcome back from vacation, by the way. I haven't welcomed you back in a couple of hours. It's good to have you back.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
That Bethany Mandel is a pain in my butt, man. It's good to have you here. Joining us right now is Susan Crabtree, Real Clear Politics, award-winning investigative journalist who really owned the Trump assassination story from the Secret Service perspective. Susan, thank you for joining us on this dubious anniversary, sadly, but one that must be acknowledged.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
I know you've got a lot of new developments here with regard to the suspensions at Secret Service and people who had quite a bit of say in what happened there and didn't really feel any repercussions. But I do want to ask you one thing, and I know it seems kind of simple and basic, but for the life of me, I have no idea if there has ever been a motive published or released by law enforcement. Do we have any kind of information about what led this assassin to try to put a bullet in the head of Donald Trump?
No, not really. We have his gab chats, Thomas Crook's gab chats, that were explored in a Senate hearing. But the FBI, when they were talking about it, really presented sort of both sides. It was both sides. He was talking about Joe Biden in negative ways. He was talking about Donald Trump in negative ways. He was Googling both of their rally information and their event information. So it made it look like it was just evenly targeted. It was not something that was focused. It wasn't partisan or focused on Donald Trump. So that was just, he was a lone gunman. And Dan Bongino has actually said that as well, that he acted alone.
Okay. So but we have no idea exactly what the issues were even that motivated, because we also have this story now from Chuck Grassley's Senate Judiciary Committee that 10 days before the assassination attempt there was a legitimate threat that they knew about it, but because Secret Service was siloed, the information was not shared across agencies. And was that threat connected to Mr. Cook's activities?
There is absolutely no hard evidence of that, and even soft evidence of that. You have all of the proffer from the ASIF merchant, the FBI proffer that actually Grassley released last year, and I posted all about it. And then Grassley was forced to take that down, or he decided to under pressure from the FBI. This is a man who was a Pakistani citizen, had spent 2 weeks in Iran recently, was in the United States, arrested J-12 the day before the rally, and he was plotting and paying off undercover FBI agent $5,000 to an assassination plot, a very granular one, against Donald Trump.
Susan, I keep thinking about this young man who, again, tried to assassinate the president, and we know so little about him. And I think back to Columbine, for instance, and how we know so much about Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the shooters at that event. And, I'm thinking about, there's also been no sit-downs, for instance, with his parents. Are you aware of any interviews that his parents have done? I'm fascinated that I suppose I'm not surprised the mainstream media isn't interested in talking to these parents, but I'm not aware of any interviews. Have they done any media?
No, they have not, and they have, shied away from any type of media. They had hired a big white shoe law firm, and they've been locked down.
Wow.
So, Senator Johnson, I was so encouraged, but it's a little. I will say that the Republicans on Capitol Hill, until I got the Senator Rand Paul Homeland Security report yesterday, which was a gold mine, by the way, a absolute wonderful report. Until that moment, I thought that the Republicans on Capitol Hill were shirking their duties. On Friday, Senator Ron Johnson subpoenaed the FBI, the Trump FBI, Senator Ron Johnson, kind of a big moment, for more information on Thomas Crooks. We want the fact some of his emails were released, but they were mild. They were just talking about how he was applying from a community college to a 4-year college. So there was nothing revealing in those emails. But he wants the information on the encrypted foreign apps. Why was this kid have foreign encrypted apps, just like a Signal that we use, the notorious Signal that has become so famous now? He wasn't using Signal like we all use. He was using some Belgium-based, another places, I think one was in New Zealand, these encrypted apps, and we want to know what was on there. We want to know what his text messages say. Why did he show up with pipe bombs? Why did in his car? He didn't. It could have been a mass killing event, because he had those pipe bombs in his car and one in his bedroom at his parents' house as well.
Amazing. We're speaking of Susan Crabtree, RealClearPolitics, and the developments this week on the 1-year anniversary of this assassination attempt has to do with what you've learned regarding the inner workings of the Secret Service. We learned about some suspensions. To most people, it seems like sort of a slap on the wrist. A handful of people suspended 10 days up to 42 days without pay. Tell me about what we know about these suspensions, and also about who knew about and approved these security details for that rally in Butler, who actually didn't have any repercussions, in fact, got promoted.
Yes. I mean, this is, I wasn't surprised, to be quite honest, because I've been hearing about this, so the conflicts of interest that are out there. But my sources are telling me that this idea that the Donald Trump detail, the one that Sean Kern's obviously very close, he was the head of the Donald Trump details, the two supervisors on that detail are Nick Menster and Nick Olszewski. Nick Menster is now the number 2 on the Laura and Eric Trump detail. He got a big promotion out of this. He was only a GS-13 beforehand. He got promoted. Sean promoted him to GS-14. He got this promotion to the Laura and Eric Trump detail. The other guy, Nick Olszewski, who was an inspector, so he was walking around on the walkthroughs, supposed to be providing oversight to these junior, inexperienced Mio Perez, who was the site agent. I'll talk about her in a minute. He got to be the head of the inspections division, which is charged with accountability, instituting accountability and integrity for all Secret Service operations. The irony is thick. Meanwhile,
hold that thought. That's insane.
Yeah.
He's responsible for the inspection. He oversaw the inspection of this site. Obviously, he blew it, and now he's been promoted to be in charge of all inspections. All right, hold that thought. We've got more with Susan Crabtree on this in just a moment. First, though, it is 8:44. All right, we continue now with Susan Crabtree on this, the anniversary of the Trump assassination attempt of last year. It was a dark day for the Secret Service, and there have been some repercussions. You were mentioning Mio Perez, is that her name? Who is she, and what exactly did she do that day to earn a suspension, and what's the continuing disposition of her role with the Secret Service and protecting President Trump?
Yes, well, her long name, her full name is Miosoti Perez. She goes by Mio, and she is the site agent. The site agent is in charge of the entire security planning, advance work, and execution at the rally. And her suspension records that were released by Rand Paul this weekend say that she was responsible for not covering that AGR building. Now, there were other people that were responsible, partially responsible. The counter sniper teams, they were also faulted, one of them, but not the supervisor. And guess what? This is huge. I broke this yesterday. The hero of the day on J13 was the counter sniper that killed Thomas Crooks, right?
Right. Yeah.
This is the big news out of yesterday. He was also a problem. He was supposed to supervise the counter sniper security plan. He had 10 years more experience than the junior the officer who comprised the plan. They only had 2 days, though, I will say. They were dropped in because of the security threat. They should have had those counter snipers there on day one of that advance work. Yeah. But no, they had him. They only gave him 2 days to do it. They screwed it up royally, though. I mean, it was a wreck.
So even the guy who was the hero of the day actually sort of messed up as well.
Wow.
Correct. Okay. So that's part of it. Let's talk about Mio Perez. Mio Perez had no business being the site agent for that rally. She had 3.5 years experience, no experience for a big rally of any kind, leading the security. But she was set up to fail because her supervisors provided zero oversight. Especially when it came to the AGR building, they did the walkthrough with her. These two Nicks, I call them the Nicks, Nick Menster, Nick Olszewski, they were her supervisors. One was an inspector because of the heightened threat was there, and because it was such a big rally, was there to provide oversight. Nobody questioned about why those local law enforcement were inside the building instead of on top of it.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
All right. We got to leave it there. Great reporting, as always. Award-winning investigative reporter Susan Crabtree, RealClearPolitics. Her book, by the way, is fantastic, all about California, the corruption that we're seeing unfold today before our very eyes, cataloged in her book, along with Jado McFadder. The book is Fool's Gold, the radicals, con artists, and traitors who killed the California dream and now threaten us all. Thank you, Susan. Got to leave it there.
Thanks, Susan.
It's 8:53.